This is the Be a Hero Gaming Channel. My name is Ben, and on this channel we talk about games and how you can be a hero in your real lives and not just in your games. It has been a very long time since I've made a video, and the reason is because I had to work a whole bunch so that I could attend SCG Con in Baltimore over last weekend, and I had an absolutely great time there. And today in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things that I didn't like so much about competing in Wonders of the First at the tournament, and 3 things that I really did like about it. But before I get to that, speaking of working, when I graduated from college, I had a job that I absolutely despised. I hated the job and I hated to go to work. I wasn't very good at it. It didn't fit my personality. It didn't fit my skill set. And every day I went to work was just drudgery. However, one day I came home from work and saw my wife bringing some groceries into the house, and it dawned on me that these groceries that were coming into our home and the utilities and this house that I live in, the car that I drive, and everything that I have was provided for by this job. And I thought to myself, I need to be more grateful for this employment, even though I don't like it very much. And wouldn't it happen coincidentally that a week later I was laid off from that job because of the economy? I had a lot of time to think about that experience, and I felt awful when I did not have a chance to go to work to provide for my family, even though I didn't like the job. So first of all, if you have a job that you hate, remember that that's what's providing for your lifestyle. That's what's providing the cards that are coming into your house and everything inside of it. But if you really don't like it that much, look for something better. Get more education, get more skills, put some applications and resumes out there and find something that will fit your personality and fit your skill set so that you will enjoy going to work, and it will also provide for your family and your needs. Now, with that said, there were 3 things about attending SCG Con in Baltimore that I didn't like so much, and 3 things that I really did like. And I wanted to talk about those things today. The first thing was that the days were very, very long. Now, I did have a little bit of I guess a forewarning about this by watching some other content creators and them talk about this, that the days were long and you play a lot of games. And so I was a little bit prepared for that. So it wasn't too bad, but the days were very exhausting. And when we got back to the hotel, we were ready for bed. You play game after game after game after game. And we're just used to playing a couple of games in the basement, and that's it. This is the first real professional tournament that we had ever been to, me and my son. And so the days were very long. The second thing that I didn't like so much about it was that the competition was very, very fierce. And I heard from some other people that from Orlando to Houston to Baltimore, the competition was kind of getting revved up a little bit, that it wasn't quite like that when they first were in Orlando, but it's getting more fierce. And I think because that's happening because a lot more people are jumping into the competition, a lot more people from other games that are kind of like professional tournament goers, and they take their competition very seriously. Wasn't necessarily an all bad thing. It was just something unexpected for me, that this was something that people took very seriously. Now, I wanted to win too. I wasn't there just to mess around. I definitely wanted to win. But it was just kind of a different feeling that I got when I was there. The third thing that didn't go quite as expected is that it being a new game, there were a lot of questions that we had to raise our hand and call a judge over to kind of resolve. And a lot of times the judge didn't know the answer. They had to look it up in their notes, or every now and again call a team member over just to get some clarification. Now, that was because a lot of people that were playing in some of the tournaments had never really played the game before. So there was a lot of questions, which caused the game to slow down a little bit. However, there were never any games that I finished over time. Every game I was able to finish within the allotted time. There was a couple of games where I had to tell my opponent, we only got about 20 minutes left, as he was trying to decide what to do on his turn. We only got about 10 minutes. We got to pick it up here if we want to finish. But we were able to finish every game in under the time. But there were a little couple of rules snafus that every now and again we had to call a judge over. They didn't really always know the answer. And I think as more people learn the game, that will not be an issue. And you have to go to these tournaments knowing the days are going to be very, very long and that the competition is going to be very intense. Now, some of those things spill over into what I liked about going there. Let me talk about those things now. The first thing that I liked about going to this competition were the promo cards that we got there. And we were super, super excited to pick up a few of these, a couple of alt arts for the first, and the Seer's Gaze were just some amazing cards. And I have to say, when we paid for these tournaments, we attended all 4 of them, which probably was one of the reasons why it made it so busy. I think a couple of the tournaments cost like $30 and a couple were $50. So I spent on myself $160 to attend all 4 tournaments, and I got 4 promo cards out of it, each valued at $150 to $200. And in fact, some of the newer people that were sitting down who had no idea about the game, this card was being tossed down in front of them. And I mentioned to one guy sitting kitty corner from me, hey, that's like a $150 to $200 card. And his eyes just bulged out of his head. He couldn't believe it, that this promo card was so valuable compared to some of the other games that he was playing. Now, some of the other players had mentioned that a lot of the reasons why they jumped into Wonders of the First and started playing it was because of the EV, or the expected value of the cards you get out of packs. They were noticing that they were far outpacing other games. The price you pay for the packs of cards in the boxes and the cards you get out of them were very, very valuable. And that was something very enticing to them. And then also when they played the game, they realized how cool of a game it was. And so it was great to get these promo cards. It was great to tell some of the newer people about the promo cards and how valuable and rare they really are. The second thing that I really enjoyed about going to this competition was, ironically, kind of tied in with one of the things I didn't like, and that's the fierce competition. Now, I did not do very well when I was there. I did slip into the top 8 in the constructed tournament. I don't know how that happened, but got absolutely obliterated in round number 1. In fact, I was sitting on the end, and so a lot of people were kind of gathered around watching us because we were on the end of the long tables, and I think they were looking at my playmat, wondering why there were no cards on my playmat, and there were a whole bunch of cards on my opponent's playmat, because everything I put out just got wiped out. And I had a bad shuffle, and it just did not go well. But the second thing that I liked was the strategy you were able to learn from other players. And as my son had a really hard time losing, I was telling him, look at what they're playing. What card combinations are they using? What cards are useful? What cards do you think you might want to use in a deck in the future? And that became a total game changer for me, especially as the days grew longer. I couldn't wait to see my next opponent, what their deck was going to look like, what cards they were going to play, what combos they were going to play. And I made a mental note of several of them that were used a lot, or that I thought I might want to use in a future deck. So it was an incredible learning experience for me, where my son and I just play abilities we like. We have kind of the cards we like. We didn't really explore a lot of other options, and our eyes were open to the possibilities of this game. The combinations and the decks were just amazing. And it was a wonderful learning experience. And that's the second thing that I really enjoyed about going to the competition. The third thing that I really enjoyed, and probably the most important and greatest thing of all, was the people that we were able to meet. It was so fantastic to meet all these people that we either chat with on the Discord, or that comment on the channel, or that we kind of only know in cyberspace. It was great to see them in real life, to chat with them on their experiences with the game and competing, and especially the members of the Wonders of the First team were just great to talk to. They were friendly, they were easygoing and easy to talk to, and just offered up a wealth of knowledge about the game, about some possible combinations that we might employ. And it was just great to talk to those people and to meet those people. And that was probably the most fun that we had, was just the people we were able to meet and talk to at the competition. So although there was a few things which I think aren't, deal breakers for me, I think the rules are going to get better. You just have to expect intense competition. and the days are going to be long. But because of that, you are able to get some great promo cards. You're able to learn some strategies and some deck combos from some other players, and you're able to meet some great people. Probably the highlight of our weekend is after my son lost game after game after game, we started to make a sealed deck, and I think he was the only person that pulled a Pink Spore alt art. Out of 50 to 60 boxes that were open, I could be wrong, there might have been someone else. I didn't see anybody else as I looked around, but he was absolutely over the moon to pull this card out, and was thrilled after all the losses that he had racked up to get such a treat in his box, which is just another thing that makes this game so great. Not just the gameplay, but as other players are noticing, the EV, the expected value you're going to get out of these packs and boxes are just wonderful. These alternate arts, these chase cards that come out, and to boot, the game is a blast to play. Wonders of the First truly is the greatest collectible card game ever. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll notice I have a whole series on that, and those videos are going to continue to be produced. If you have a job that you don't like, that's bothering you, remember that that job is providing for your livelihood. Be grateful for it. Be grateful that you have employment, that you have income, so that you can buy cards and pay for your house and support you and your loved ones. But if it's really bothering you, go get some education. Go get some skills. Look around for something that fits your personality better, that fits your skill set better. So not only can you have your life provided for, but you can enjoy what you do. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you attended SCG Con Baltimore and what your experience was, whether it was good or whether it was bad, I'd love for you to comment on that down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care.